Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the crunkiest show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq. I got the queen, Demetra Kate. And I am the five-star general. Say, how many times have you shopped at an Asian business? They disrespected you. And why the hell you keep taking your black ass back? Let's talk about it tonight, man, because that go on almost every other day somewhere. Let's get to it. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for tuning in. You're the best audience in the world. You guys, kind of take it easy on me tonight. I'm going to go as hard as I can. My doctor shut me down today for a week. Told me I'm dealing with exhaustion and I shouldn't be doing too much, but, it's what it is. I mean, that's what it is. So, but I'm going to start it off with this here, man. The trustees of the Houston Independent School District, they have to appoint somebody to take Wanda Adams' seat in District 9. From what I gather, there's 7 people. 7 people that want this appointment. Now, I ain't seen the other 6 do no work in District 9 in the last 4 years. I ain't seen you at a school, at a protest. I ain't seen you do nothing. Nothing. But you know what's best for children. A couple of them people in there have affiliations with the teachers union. And if you understand the business of teachers unions with school districts, you're trying to monopolize the votes on the board so that you can accomplish what you want to accomplish. That's not fair. That's a problem because now we have people that are being controlled by an outside entity. But one of the ones that I found unique was, man, last name is Jemison. Now, Mr. Jemison, I'm gonna speak directly to you, homie. Wasn't you caught up in the Larry Marshall scandal back in 2011 with the procurement department, with the vendors and the money? And hold on. What, didn't TEA just come in here last year? And that's one of the investigations they doing about the procurement department. So how in the hell would this man's application even be looked at? I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. I had to do everything in my power today not to pull out the race because I don't really want to be affiliated with a bunch of people that have no passion, no history of working with kids, none of that. None of that. And I'm just telling the truth. Some of y'all need to stay in y'all lane, man. And at the end of the day, you're hurting black education in the city of Houston. Our school district is in perils, and this the best we could come up with? You got one ain't gonna say nothing. I was on the SDMC committee, shared decision-making committee, in a local school. But baby, do you understand budgets? Or are you gonna do what you did for the last 2-3 years, run around here and kiss the behind of one of the directors from the Texas Education Agency, who basically is the devil that want to destroy education in the city of Houston? You did a good job of that. What shade of lipstick you wearing today, Sean? What's going on, Donovan?
Oh my goodness. Welcome to the War Zone, the realest conversation on the internet with the realest friends on the internet. I just want to say politics is a strange thing and people will sell their soul for a few coins. But in the news, if you guys heard, Joe Biden, he announced his communications group. And how many of you guys remember all-pro linebacker Simone Sanders, who was out there buck dancing and doing everything she can to make sure Joe gets elected and he's better, for the people? Yeah, I worked on Bernie Sanders' campaign last year, but Joe has a clear vision. This was a woman who put herself out there. And then that other chick from Haiti, Jean Pierre, whatever her name is, he names his communications people. The face of an administration is the press secretary. Now, we've told you on this show, and we've told you on several shows, there's no difference between a Joe Biden and a Donald Trump. There's no difference between a Democrat or a Republican. The white woman that is the press secretary I know her background. I know a little about her, but how many of you guys know her? You don't. I didn't see her put out the public work. I didn't see her tackle a fan coming at Joe Biden. I didn't see her, go to the Pro Bowl. Every last Black person that butterbeamed their way to Cape for Joe Biden has been put under a white woman. If you look at the communications, Simone Sanders was named the spokesman for the vice president. How many of you guys can name me the spokesman for the vice president of Mike Pence right now? What does the vice president do but walk around and just wait for the president to die?
I thought it was Flavor Flav.
Exactly. Jean-Claude Pierre was named overall White House vice press secretary. All in name. All these butterbean stuff has been going on, and all these Black women got for it was secondary roles that have no power whatsoever. And in conclusion, your boy, and I know he's a Yates graduate and everything, matter of fact, you didn't even hear from him today. He's just pissed. Roland Martin is pissed because he swore up and down he was going to get a job with the Biden administration. That's all I got to say. Demetra?
Yeah, I was going to say, so far, I mean, we don't know. I don't know if they're still picking people. But yeah, that's kind of a snub because a lot of people were saying they thought that Roland Martin would get the press secretary job, but I don't know if he's going to or not. The other thing is, has anybody heard if girl in Georgia, what's her name?
Stacey Abrams.
Did she get it wrong yet?
Nope. And the press secretary was already named. It's a white woman. Roland Martin ain't getting it. It's already done. It's a white woman.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary. I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm gonna be quiet.
Well, I'm gonna start this off, man. I gotta apologize to somebody. We've had a discussion. We had a lengthy discussion. Dr. Carolyn Shabazz, my city council person, and you remember I was in front of our house at like 3:00 in the morning. Well, me and Shabazz have a history. We worked together. We were partners in crime, going up in them schools and fighting for them kids. And she was the educational chair of the NAACP, and I actually sat as the educational chair of the economic committee of the NAACP. So we tag team. And I'm gonna apologize to my friend for one reason. I should have picked up the phone and called you, but I was so aggravated, and I'm used to holding elected officials accountable, that the same way we had the discussion months later, we could have had it before then. So I got reassurance from the good doctor that we're gonna have the discussions that we need to have to try to make at least District D, the district of distinction, make it safer for the people, because that is very, very important to me, to make sure that our people are safe all over the city, but especially in District D, home of Third Ward, Texas. So I'm gonna start it off with that. Now, I watched a documentary this weekend about the young girl that was murdered in a Korean store in Los Angeles, and that's what triggered the riots. A lot of people, attribute it to Rodney King, but I think y'all guys were closer to it than me. When that young lady was murdered, that set it off. So I mean, and when you look at this documentary and you listen to her best friend, who had been in that same store a couple of weeks prior, and that same lady had a gun to her head on something, and her mom was actually standing outside the store. It was a prostitute that had to run outside and get her mama to save her. So when I thought about it, and then I looked through the internet and I saw some instances where people say that Asian business owners had disrespected them. I know we saw the big thing. I think it was in Chicago, where the brother showed up and threw the bricks through the window at the nail salon. And my question is, if the Asian business owners are disrespecting you so bad, why do you keep going back to their business? Why do you keep going back to their business? I don't understand it. I shop black owned. That's what I do. I eat black owned. I shop black owned. You know, I don't have those issues. And I know sometimes our people on the business side ain't got their stuff together, but I kind of work with them on, because I'm not going to go in anywhere and you follow me around the store like I'm a criminal, or you handle me sort of like that. But this has happened a lot of times, and I just want y'all opinion on it. Let's talk about it tonight, because some of y'all ain't going to admit it, but you've been in that position where you've been disrespected by somebody. You've been disrespected by black business owners. Whoever disrespects you, why do you keep going back? Donovan, what's your opinion?
Well, like I said, a lot of us, I mean, a majority of us we've been trained to be consumers because we don't produce shit. We don't produce nothing overall. Yes, we have small businesses and this is that, but we're talking impactful corporations. Name me a black corporation right now off the top of your head. You can't do it. We have little mom and pop stores and little weed thing around the corner. We got our neighborhood drug pharmacists around the corner. We have our little small businesses, right? But as consumers, we're going to go to where we have a little sense and we can save a few dollars. It doesn't take much for us to sell our standing out. Like I said, they were choking Koreans and we're choking black women out in a shop. It didn't take much, but for the person to put up 50% off some hacky yacky for the black woman to line up and and do what they got to do. Young black man could be shot in the street by the police. It don't take much for a lot of these black moms to just say, oh, well, y'all be peaceful. I don't want no upset. If he was alive today, he would want y'all to be. How you going to speak for a dead person? I'm very sure that person would want to be more so alive than they are dead. So it doesn't take much for us as consumers, consumer-minded, to just sell our status and our ethics for a few dollars because we lack wealth in our community.
So I want to go ahead and give you guys just a little bit more background in regards to Latasha Harlan. Latasha Harlan was a 15-year-old black girl that was murdered by a Korean store owner by the name of Soon Do or something like that. What happened was the Asian Korean liquor store owner accused Latasha of stealing an orange juice. She said that she saw Latasha pull the orange juice out of her backpack, but when it all came out, per the police, what they saw on the surveillance camera, they said that it does appear that Latasha was going to pay for the orange juice. Now, let me back it up a little bit. So what happened was the Asian store owner ends up shooting Latasha in her back as she was, leaving the store. Her back was turned anyway. And so the lady ends up getting off. Well, she was found guilty, but then she got time served, 5 years probation. So basically she got away with murdering Latasha in cold blood. Now, it was her testimony that Latasha was going to steal the orange juice. It was $1.72 or something like that. She was going to steal the orange juice. But Latasha and two other witnesses said that the lady was lying. That's not how it went down. In fact, they said the lady called Latasha a bitch before murdering her in cold blood. So basically, she gets away with the murder. Now, I think it was 13 days before that, the Rodney King incident happened. You guys all know what Rodney King, the police was seen on video beating him damn near to death. And so that's kind of what sparked the LA riots. It was more or less like, you know what, we've had enough. That happened at 13.
Well, don't forget Taisha Miller right here in Riverside. Remember, right. That was also a part of it too. That kind of stepped it up.
Taisha didn't happen until the late 90s, but Latasha and Rodney King happened in 91. So basically she's an Asian store owner that once again has gotten away with murdering somebody black. All right. Let me bring you back a little bit into modern day times, and maybe 5, 6, 7 years ago. You guys might have remembered the case of Akai Gurley. He was the 28-year-old black man that was murdered in New York City. The police officer by the name of Peter Lang was an Asian. He went into the building. You guys, if you've ever been into a high-rise or a project building, if you will, in New York, a lot of times the lights don't work. And so in this particular case, the light in the hallway was not working, and Officer Lang heard something, and he shot blindly into the hallway, murdering Akai Gurley. All right, so He gets charged with murder and then he gets found guilty with something, less than. However, the DA, who was a black man, decided not to send him to jail, felt like he, learned his lesson. We're not going to go any further with him having to do any jail time. Now, let me give you a little history on that. His people, which were Asians, they rallied behind him, whether he murdered a black man or not. They rallied behind him and they put all their money, well, not all of it because they got a lot of money, they put their money behind influencing, as Dr. Claude Anderson tells us, politics. Because when you got money, you have power. They were able to influence politics and they were able to influence that DA to say, hey, you know what? He didn't mean it, whatever. He's not going to do any time. So let me answer Gary's question as to why, I don't know my camera's doing that, why we go back. We go back because, for one, we don't have ownership of our own neighborhoods. As Dr. Claude Anderson says, we have neighborhoods, not communities, because in communities, you have stores, you have hospitals, you have everything that your people own that you can go and recycle your black dollars, okay? The other thing is we don't practice group economics. We don't support the black businesses that are up and running, whether it's online or whatever the case is. We don't even think twice about going into these people's stores, and they're allowed to set up shop in our neighborhood, right? And I said, you can always see how your city council feels about you by the businesses they allow to go up in your neighborhood. So they allow the Asians, the Arabs, and everybody else to open up liquor stores and, stuff we really don't need. But the lastly, but not least, we are dead. We are mentally dead. We are the walking dead. We will hear about time and time and time and time again of them mistreating somebody in our community, and we continue to go back. Well, what else are we gonna do? We don't have no more stores around here, and this, that, and the other. But it's like, well, this store right here just choked a little boy, right? Or just choked a black woman, or just broke a black man's leg. Well, I don't care. So there's a whole lot of things going on with there. So it's not there. This is what I want to say. I want to give it back to you fellas, okay? What is going through those store owners' minds where they feel like they can choke out one of our women or our babies and not be in fear that one of you black men are going to get together the mob and go around there and see about them? Now, I'm going to leave that blank, see about them. Why aren't they in fear of that? Because I know if y'all was to do something, hell, you can't even look like a white woman. You didn't even just glance at her without somebody getting in their feelings about their woman. But these people choke out our women. And I'm going to give, Brother Tyrone Muhammad a pass because he did what he had to do. But these store owners aren't even scared of y'all. They ain't scared they're going to come back to a building that's smoldering the next morning because they know for the most part we're passive. Y'all have it.
Aria, Amor, Rito, put up, as black people, we need to build our own tables and stop taking seats at other people's tables, hypothetically speaking. And I'm going to tell you something. She just said a mouthful. We need to stop going to other people's tables. We need a black table. Now, in Southeast Houston, if you need a beauty supply store, there is a store called the Black Store, right there on Cullen. You can go in there and get all your beauty needs the same way, same cost that you're going to pay at the Asian. Am I trying to put Asian businesses out of business? No, I'm trying to get my people to spend money with their people. And there's nothing wrong with me doing that. But I definitely do not get why we go back. Brother Tyrone, I applaud him. But as he's throwing the brick through the window, you got women already sitting in there that's black, knowing what has happened to another African-American woman in this same establishment. So yeah, the fear factor is not there because they know you ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. They already know it. So, the only way that we can get the respect that we rightfully deserve is not by throwing a brick through their window. It's by taking our money out of their registers. That's what it is. Spend your money with your people because they promote to their people. Yeah, they people gonna come there. They don't buy all the stuff they sell. I don't think they buy 90% of the stuff they sell in a beauty supply. You feel what I'm saying? But if you stereotype me in any way, shape, form, or fashion, I remember I was in Cali somewhere. I can't remember. I was in this high price store. And I always kept about 20 G's in my backpack. I don't know why I did that, but I kept about 20 G's in my backpack. So I'm looking at this jacket. Can you afford that? I said, how much it cost? Oh, that's $1,200. So I pop open the backpack, throw my money on the counter. I think I can afford anything you selling in this motherfucker. But since you tripping, I go to the store down the sidewalk because maybe they'll look at me like I'm just a young black man that do music and I dress a certain way, but you looking at me like I done came in here to rob you. Man, ain't nobody want to do nothing to you. But we need to stop allowing people to disrespect us and set our own tables, just like Aria said.
Well, let's think about this. Let's think about this, everybody. Here in California, we have an area known as Beverly Hills. The only way you can set up shop in Beverly Hills is if you have the money to do so. Yeah, you have some Arabs coming from Saudi Arabia, but remember, those people don't have any rights. They're taken care of by the kingdom. So the king can do whatever he wants, and the people ain't got no rights. But they do get an annual stipend of almost $100,000 a year, everybody in the kingdom. So in Beverly Hills, you can't just come and set up shop. So when these Koreans and Asians and other people come, where do they go to set up shop when they just get off the boat? They go to the Black community. Everything is made off of us. Everything. So if we know that, like I've said on this show, and I'm going to continue to say it, and I know you guys hate hearing it, money makes the world go round. How are these people coming here to the Black community? We let them set up shop in our community and then take our money out of the community that doesn't benefit us or even help, restore and upkeep the neighborhood. But I can tell you here, the biggest Vietnamese population, the second biggest Vietnamese population in the world outside of Vietnam is Little Saigon in Orange County, California. You can't come to their neighborhood and set up a chicken shop. They're not going to let you do it. Even if you did, they're not going to patronize you. So if they're doing that, why do we allow these people to come into our neighborhoods that don't benefit us whatsoever? And they take the money and then they go live in their communities or whatever and doesn't benefit us because they know we ain't going to do nothing. We talk a good game. When those Korean ladies were beating up on that Black woman and her grandmother, that never happened back in the day when we were younger. That never happened. The sister would be kicking some ass. But we let it go on because, it's $8, girl, to get your nails done. We got to get down there. It's our own fault.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. If I saw that happening, we already know what the OG going to do. It's already, you're going to need a new front window. Because somebody going to feel like Casper when I throw them through it. So, I just think that, a lot of people say we don't have the resources. Well, on Black Friday, I think it was like $9 billion spent.
Another record.
$9 billion. So how much of that was Black-owned spent? How much did you spend with your people? You see what I'm saying? See, you want change and you don't understand the power of your money. You don't understand that. And for your question, how do they come in and set up shop in our neighborhood? The politicians allow it. They allow it. Like in Houston, I've never been to the Turkey Leg Hut, but it's Black-owned. It's Black-owned. The Stuffed Baked Potato Factory, Black-owned. You see what I'm saying? How many of y'all actually go there? How many of y'all actually spend your money with people that have a heart? Mike Moe, that owned the Stuffed Baked Potato Factory, has given back so much money to the community, it's unreal. Even before he had the Stuffed Baked Potato Factory. And now he's franchised. He got one in Mississippi. They built him one somewhere else. But the thing is that this is a man that, as a business owner in the Black community, puts money back into the community. You see what I'm saying? Like when Jim's burnt down, the store with the good boudin. Well, if you ain't never been in there, you could go in there and see all them plaques on the wall from Little League football teams that this man has sponsored. I knew the real Jims before it got sold. I knew the real Jims, and the crazy part, he was a white man. But he gave money back to the neighborhood. So I never had a problem going in there spending my money. But the people that's on our blocks that ain't spending no money with us, they need to go.
Yeah, I mean, so I think, you know, it should be said that there are a lot of businesses that aren't Black owned that are in the neighborhood, and they do right by the neighborhood. You know, when I was in California, there was an Asian beauty supply. He had all Black employees. And you know, he helped out the community and everything. So he was good. You know, he understood that if I'm gonna be in these people's neighborhoods, that I actually need to contribute more than just sucking the resources out of there. But you know, I'm looking at the comments and stuff, and people have various reasons as to why we don't or really why we allow those things to happen in our neighborhood. And yeah, we can blame the politicians and this person and that person. But at the end of the day, that's on us. How do those politicians get to office? We vote or don't vote for them. They allow those people to come in. I shouldn't say those people, but those businesses to come into our neighborhood and mean us no good. And as far as I saw somebody say that, you know, we're stereotyped. I mean, hell, everybody's stereotyped. We stereotype people, they stereotype us. But what has that got to do with the money? And we do have the money. We have $1.3 trillion in our community every year. We give away 97% of that. Now, some of that is because we don't have, you know, the amount of businesses they have, but we do have some. But we need to start redirecting that money. And the other thing is we are consumers and we don't produce. We get out there and buy shit we don't even need. Like, what is that about, right? We buy what we want and beg for what we need, opposed to building in our own community. So we can blame everybody. Everybody has some, you know, fault to be assigned. But at the end of the day, it is on us. I saw somebody mention Sheila Jackson Lee. Yes, she's a douchebag, excuse my French, for allowing, you know, the community to go down the way it is. But you guys keep voting for her. You guys keep putting her back in office. She don't live there. I guarantee you, she don't live. Her neighborhood don't have liquor stores and pawn shops and 99-cent stores and, you know, the checking the cashes and weed shops all on her block. I bet you she don't. So it's on her because she's voted in there to help the people, but it's on y'all. How many terms has she been in office? A lot? More than once?
At least 24 terms. At least
13 terms.
13 terms, yeah.
13 terms. I mean, like, do you need a 14th term to figure out that she is or is not going to actually? I mean, like, so stop with the blame. The blame is on the people who live there. If you don't like the stores that's in your neighborhood, take your ass to the city council. And like I said, Black people, we are reactive and not proactive because, as I said, every city council meeting I've been to, it was the white people and everybody else is like, oh, no, you're not going to put that in our neighborhood. We don't want no weed shop in our neighborhood. But guess who goes there after the weed shop is built and there's a line around the corner? It's us. Well, you know, we don't want that in there. Well, where was you at when the planning committee was talking about putting it in your neighborhood? So that's on us.
Yeah, you know, real quick, that thing that Demetra just did, she came to my city council meeting. There was a lady named Miss Jackson. Miss Jackson went off after the fact.
Well, Sharnika, if I'm saying that wrong, forgive me. She says Blacks kill Black businesses. Just look at the uproar in Dallas right now. Let's talk about Dallas. You can take the Negro out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the Negro. I don't want you pussy popping over my bowl of fettuccine. If you want a pussy pop, go to the club. Am I upset that the man went off? Hell no. You got the right to refuse service to anybody you want to refuse service to. And if you coming in there, see, we big on how we conduct ourselves. Come on, we say this. Oh, you know, Monroe, look at how he talk. Hold on a second, man. That man built his business. He has a nice atmosphere in his business. If you want a pussy pop, take your ass to South Dallas to a club and pussy pop over them hot wings they selling from the back. You ain't got to do this in this man's restaurant. What you got to say about that, Ms. Demetra?
So just to give it a little bit more context, there's a guy by the name of, and I did a video on it. You guys are going to see it somewhere later on. There's a guy by the name of Kevin Kelly. He's a restaurant owner in Dallas of True Kitchen and Cocktails. So what had happened was over the weekend, there's a video of him that went viral. Apparently there were some women, ladies, girls, I don't know, that was in the restaurant and they decided to twerk. Now I should give it a little bit more background. He has a DJ there. And the DJ played a song by a local Dallas rapper, Little Robbie, somebody, Throw That Ass in the Circle, okay? So they, right, Throw That Ass in the Circle is the name of the song, not my song, his song. And this particular table not only got up and twerked, but from what people are saying, they got on the furniture and was twerking in the restaurant. So Mr. Kelly came out, and this is when people got it on video. He came out and he was pissed. He was, and I'm paraphrasing at this point, but he was like, not in my restaurant. He says, I built this restaurant for the culture. I do not want you twerking in here. He says, I don't care if the DJ put a song on, whatever. Do not do that here. He says, I get 75% of my money from women. He says, but I do not need your money if you're going to come in my restaurant and twerk. And basically said, you're not going to do that here. Dropped the mic, and then he went back from wherever he came from. Now, he's getting a lot of backlash because they're saying he was unprofessional. He should have just addressed the table instead of addressing the whole restaurant. He cursed. He did drop a couple of, F-bomb or two or something like that. But people are mad, basically saying they shouldn't have played the song and this, that, and the other. But it is my opinion. I'm with you, Gary. Like, that's inappropriate. Yeah, the DJ's playing the song, but that don't mean that you needed to get up and start throwing your ass in a circle. That's a restaurant with mixed company, as my mom would say. You're in mixed company and something tells you, like you're in the restaurant is not like a hole in the wall, like a juke joint. It's an upscale restaurant from what I saw. I went on their website. They got cocktails and they got lobster and, all of that kind of stuff. And so it doesn't seem like it's an environment for you to be twerking your ass in a circle or whatever it was that it was doing. And so, I mean, I'm not mad at the guy. And I actually said big ups to him. Let me finish. I said big ups to him because we need more men. If more men, especially Black men, would tell these Black women who are wayward, you know what? We good. Y'all start shunning that behavior, it will go away a lot. Start telling them we don't want to see that because it's going to take Black men, I believe, to really just let these women know if you want to be considered a queen, you need to start acting like a queen. And until further notice, we're going to shun you completely.
Absolutely. I mean, these are young women. I don't know if they have children or not, but they're going to be mothers one day. You're in a restaurant that might have children, and you think that being the first teacher, that's what you're going to teach them, and that's what they see. Oh, mama got up and started twerking her ass in a restaurant. What do you think your kids are going to do? But now here we are, and here's a prime example. You're in Walmart. How many of y'all have a shower cap on your head and your damn pajamas on, and you shopping in the damn Walmart and think that's appropriate? I mean, when did our standards in our community get lowered to the gutter? It's just sad. So again, Demetra, you're right. We, as men, number one, have to start shunning that type of behavior and correcting that behavior. But women being the first teacher, do you think it's appropriate for your child to go to school in pajamas? If it's not appropriate for them to go to school in pajamas, why would you let them go into public at a store in their pajamas? And in some of them damn pajamas, I don't know, ladies, you got 14 and 15-year-old girls that, ain't got much showing. You got these older men. Look, I'm an older man. I can't help but look. But, what are you expecting? And then when the guy tries to holler at it, y'all want to get an attitude.
Well, I'm going to say this here. Al, I need you to take Demetra over to Phil and Derek's. I bet you won't pussy pop on no top of no table in Phil and Derek's. I bet you get your ass thrown up out of there. It's just certain places you do certain things. But like I said, man, you can take the Negro out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the Negro. We know where we ain't supposed to do it. So do I fault the owner? No, because according to what was said, he asked them nicely at first. How many times does he have to ask you? How many times does he have to ask your ratchet ass to sit down? See, Ratchet then become a way of life. Ratchet has become a way of life. I remember when Cash Money was hollering bling bling, all of a sudden they put it in the dictionary. You see what I'm saying? It became a way of life. So Ratchet has become a way of life. Now, if you got to throw your ass in a circle in that man restaurant, I can guarantee you wasn't no man with him. Wasn't no man with it because you set your half-naked ass down somewhere. That's what would have happened. We need to learn how to act when we go to certain places. You know, and like you just said about the pajamas and how we dress and how our kids dress, say, man, you don't want nobody looking at your 13-year-old daughter, cover her ass up. You won't let her walk around here with a camel toe showing and half her ass cheek showing in the back. You think these old motherfuckers ain't gonna look at them? These pedophiles on a mission right now. Later the other day, they found her dead in the trunk of a car. All the way up in Beaumont. You women need to wake up and understand one thing. What you represent every day is the way these motherfuckers gonna treat you. So if you walking around and you throwing that ass in a circle, then guess what? You could be my hoe.
Yeah. So I saw a comment. I don't remember who said it at this point, but they said, "What about the daddies?" So yeah, you know, clearly, the daddies are in the equation. But I know that, as Donovan said, the mama is the first teacher. You gonna learn from your mama because your mama is your circle of influence. And I'm gonna tell you something right now. I ain't never ever not once saw my mama or any of my grandmamas twerking and, you know, throwing their ass in a circle. And I surely didn't see them do it in no, you know, out in public. But you could be anywhere now and see such deplorable behavior from women, and especially our women. And I'm one of those women, and, you know, I'm a traditionalist, if you will. So I have some old-fashioned, antiquated views about, you know, roles and all of that. But it is past time that we stop playing soft what's going on with our women and our girls. It's inappropriate. Stop saying, I hate when people tell me, well, you know, now it's a different time and this, that, and the other. And I don't know what kind of restaurant that was, Gary. I'm sure it's a white one, upscale restaurant. But you know good and hell well they wouldn't have took their ass to no white restaurant, no Ruth Chris or Morton's or nothing like that, and threw their ass in no circle. Because you know why? They would have got their ass thrown up out of there. And if I was him, I'd have threw them out. I wouldn't have said shit to them twice. Matter of fact, you know what? If you ate, go outside. I'm gonna hand you your doggy bag. Cause right now you really acting like a dog by throwing your ass in a circle. So I'm gonna treat you like a dog. I wouldn't have said nothing to him twice. You need to get your ass up out of my restaurant. That is not what we do here. Because what I'm afraid is that the word is gonna spread that, you know, there's people up in here twerking, and then some more twerkers gonna try to come up in there and get them some fame and all of that. And I'm glad the video went viral to show the world, because I'm sure the world has seen it, or okay, at least in the United States, maybe I'm giving it too much credit. But, you know, people have seen that this black man was unapologetic about it, and he's like, enough, no more.
I'm gonna read what Andrea Davis said. She said, blame social media and generational ghettotism. Well, I take the generational ghettotism, but I'm not finna blame social media. And I'm gonna tell you why. You know, first of all, we want to blame it on the music. Ain't no music gonna make me go pick up no gun and shoot nobody. Ain't no, and more importantly, I'm gonna tell you like this here. You know, I'm Gary W Monroe, known all over the country. Throw your ass in a circle in a restaurant like that with me. You better be able to pay that motherfucking bill when it comes, because I'm gonna be gone. Throw that ass in a circle in there with me. You're gonna be paying that bill. That's what's gonna happen. Now, what I mean by the generational genocide, I get it. Because, and I've said this on other shows, hoes go back 3 generations. It go back 3 generations. Your little young girl walking around here with a 30-year-old man, you know, 15 years old, and you ain't got nothing to say about it. Because she bringing that money home. You see what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden she dressing like whatever. Man, I had a 15-year-old nephew lived in the house with me. Came down the stairs in some skinny jeans. Know what I told him, Donovan? Say, man, you need to go upstairs and change that. Your nuts too close to each other. Say, man, you ain't finna be walking around here like that, man. It starts at home. It starts at home. We can't keep blaming the music. We can't keep blaming the hood. We can't keep doing that. It starts at home. And if you don't want to raise your children, then of course the music will raise them. The hood will raise them. Y'all hold on just a second. Let me kick that. Okay, bring my girl back in. But it starts at home. So if you a hoe and you raising her to be a hoe, then what you think her baby girl gonna be? A hoe. 3 generations of hoes.
Absolutely. You got to think about this too, you guys. How many of you guys we're always complaining about there's nothing to do. We ain't got nothing to do. A person opens a nice establishment, you can take your family or you have a nice time with your lady or whatever. And then what happens? They have a standard there, right? Then you always got these brothers or people that come in there and they want to fight in the beginning of the damn place because there's a dress code. What you mean? I'm just coming here to dance. Well, golly, if the thing is trying to portray class and elegance, you can't be out here with the street urchins and letting shit slide because eventually, and Demetri remembers it happened right here in Riverside. When me and Demetri were coming up, the minute you hit 18, your very first nightclub you're going to go to is this club called the Metro. Okay? You could go in there. The Marines are in there. Air Force people are in there. That's your first club, especially for the young girls, right? And the Metro locked you down, and it was good going there and stuff like that, right? But then their standards started to lower. Let people come in at a certain dress code, started lowering everything like that. And then at the end of the day, what ended up happening, Demetri? This girl in her damn head closed it up. Done. There is nothing to do where I live. If you want to go to a nightclub, go to a nice place, you have to drive over 70 miles toward LA or 90 miles down to San Diego to go have a nice time with your girl or your family. Because where I live, Inland Empire, there is no clubs out here because they were all been shut down because Negroes don't know how to act or how to dress appropriately.
Well, you can't take hoes everywhere. I'm just telling you straight up. You already know you can't take hoes everywhere. The same way you can't take a drunk ass dude everywhere. Let's just be honest with it. When it comes to raising your girls, it's not a science. It's just you being proactive and understanding what it takes to be a lady. I'm a man, and I would tell my girls, look, if you're gonna wear white linen pants, please wear black panties. I don't need to see the words on the back, my ass, because that's what you chose to wear. Look, if you gonna dress your daughter and you know the bra too small, well, Mr. Monroe, how you know the bra too small when her titty's hanging out on the side? Teach them how to dress. Teach them how to conduct themselves. You see what I'm saying? But more importantly, you dudes, you already knew she was a hoe before you brought her to the restaurant if she came with one. You already know she act like that, man. And more importantly, probably full of that good weed. You know how y'all smoke in the parking lot. And it is what it is. You already know these people's tendencies before you bring them to certain places. That's why I'm telling you, Demetri, tell Al to take you on over there to Phil and Derek's and see if you see somebody jump on one of them motherfucking tables and pussy popping and see if your ass don't be out there in that freezing cold right now.
Nah, yeah. And speaking about fathers, I love my father dearly. Love my daddy to death. My dad, has done a wonderful job of, raising my siblings and I. But specifically with me and my sister, ain't no way in hell I could ever think of disgracing him by taking myself in a restaurant and throwing my ass in a circle. And I'm just like, there's a lot of people who think there's nothing wrong with that. And that blows my mind to think there's people justifying whether he shouldn't have played the sound. So he played the song, "You Have No Self-Control." You're going to get up in this restaurant and like, who wants to see that? I don't understand that. Like, who's raising these people? I already know what you're going to say. I knew you was going to say that. Possibly. But who's raising these girls or these women to where they would like that? That would be the furthest thing from my mind to say, oh, let me get up and just twerk. I could see if it was a twerk contest or something going forth and they came through and said, hey, we have to twerk. Get up and table number 2, throw that ass in a circle. I could see if it was that was the case. Maybe, not me, but I'm just saying as a justification. But, and then you're mad at this man? I mean, we need to start demanding acceptable behavior from our Black women. Now I will say this, not all, I think women who twerk in a restaurant, I think they're not the norm. They're not the norm. Most Black women don't go into a restaurant and twerk, but we know that those Black women are setting the standard for the rest of us. Now, I don't think that, but everybody else is looking probably like, oh, you know, that's how Black women get down. You know, Black women, they just got to be twerking their ass everywhere. You know, it's like, whoo, boy.
Well, Angela says you can tell your kids, but at the same time, they have a choice. Not in my goddamn house. Not in my house. Go ahead, Demetri.
So a long time ago when my child was, you know, she had just went to college and I had moved to a different state or whatever, but, you know, we were connected on Facebook and this, that, and the other. And so her friend and her friend made a video. Wasn't terrible, but it was not something that I would prefer her to do. So I happened upon it on Facebook and I called her immediately. I said, what I need you to do is remove that video. She's like, wow, I'm grown, this, that, and the other. I said, I am nothing but a short plane ride away. So I suggest you take the video down before I get there. And she took the video down. Now she was well within her rights as an adult to say, I'm leaving this video up. But I think if you are influential in the life of your child, if she was 50 years old and we had that same conversation, I do believe she would have obliged and took that video down. So, I mean, they can do what they want. But if your children are doing that kind of stuff, that ain't really on them to some degree. That's on you. Like I said, I would never even want to disgrace my mother or my father doing anything like that.
Well, I'm going to tell you now that you got to understand that throwing their ass in a circle has become a phenomenon. They throwing their ass in a circle at the restaurant. They throwing their ass in a circle in the schools. They throwing their ass in the circle in the church house. Y'all think I won't be watching some of them dances y'all be doing. And you throwing your ass in a circle and you gonna say, I was throwing it in a circle for God. You a goddamn lie. You throw it in the circle for that old ass deacon sitting there to the left that was trying to look up under your skirt. That's what you were doing. So the thing is, it's just become the normal that we can act like this. You see what I'm saying? We can act like this. And when you do that, I want you to understand, even though you came there with your people or by yourself, you embarrass all of us that sit in there with you. You make us all look that damn small. And to some, it doesn't matter because they just gonna do them. But that's why some of y'all don't need to go nowhere except happy hour at Sonic from 2 to 4:30. When they got them 50-cent corn dogs, you could throw your ass in a circle right there at that goddamn machine where you can pay by cash or whatever. You can throw your ass in a circle for a corn dog. That's what you do.
You know, the funny thing is, okay, me coming from a military background, we have these things called dine-ins or dine-outs. It's a military function, and you get all dressed up, you put all your medals on and stuff like this. Now, as an officer, you know, I would stand in the line with the wing commander, the general, the congressman, or whatever, all the dignitaries, right? And you meet your troops' dates. And we would look at some of our NCOs and stuff. You don't want to bring the date that has all the tattoos on the neck and stuff, and you're trying to promote. You know, you're trying to, hey, I'm ready to move up and do all these things. There's just certain things you don't do. So you're at this dining, you know, this dining in, this big function, whatever. Do you think at a military function, I'm just taking to the military function, it is appropriate for you to get up there and shake that ass and put it in a circle just because you're at a function that does that. No, there's a time and a place for everything. And that's all we're saying here on this show. Just like Jerry just said, you got the hot dogs and thing, you want to go do that? Go do that. But there's certain places you just don't do certain things like that because it makes the rest of us feel small. As an officer, when I saw some of my Black troops bring in the ghetto chick, and then that general's looking at me because the shit rolls downhill. It doesn't go uphill. All I could do was just roll my eyes, and I would take that troop to the side, and I said, are you sure you want to do this? Because you get evaluated all around everything that you're doing if you want to promote. And those of you guys in the military, you guys know what I'm talking about. You don't bring the fun girl to the serious dine-in. You know what I mean? So,
well, I'll tell you what. If you want to throw your ass in a circle, meet me at McDonald's at about 10:29. They stop serving breakfast at 10:30. I want to make sure I can get my pancakes. And when I get a McGriddle, I like scrambled eggs. I don't like that other stuff. But at 10:30, they roll out the regular menu. Now, you can throw your ass in a circle for them to keep that morning menu open longer. That's what you can do. But you ain't going nowhere with me clowning like that. Nah, I'm not doing it. But I already know how you is, so I ain't even inviting you. No, throw your ass in a circle for a McGriddle. That's what you do.
I'll never understand it. Maybe some women or whoever's twerking, because you see dudes twerking now. So let's be correct here.
Mercy. I'm like Snoop Dogg on the commentary the other night. Lord have mercy.
Oh Lord.
Hey man, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't give a damn who you are. Some of y'all do not need to twerk, man. Your shit don't move right. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. Some of y'all ain't got enough ass to twerk. When you twerk, it ain't nothing moving but your biceps. So it ain't working. It don't work for everybody. But more importantly, don't take me nowhere and embarrass me. No. Don't do no shit like that, man, because I ain't gonna let you make it. But I'm gonna tell you, if you throw that ass in a circle, I guarantee you I'm gonna hit that back door. And when that bill come, throw your ass in a circle before you go to jail if you don't pay it.
You know, I made a comment in the comment section. Okay, I'm at a restaurant eating my meal. You mean to tell me I got to sit up here and watch those stab wounds and bullet wounds in your ass while I'm trying to eat my meal? Is that appropriate? To me, what do you think?
I don't think it's appropriate for anybody to do it, but I mean, I'm just going to keep going back to it. I think we just need to set the standards. And, big ups to homeboy, the restaurant owner, Mr. Kelly, for saying, I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to deal with the behavior where it is on the level that it is. You felt like you could come in here and shake your ass, throw it in a circle in my restaurant, then I'm going to meet you where you are. Because you're not acting like a queen. Why should I treat you like one? Why should I talk to you in a civil manner, which it sounds like he tried to at first, and maybe they kept throwing their ass in the circle and they reversed it. I don't know what they did, but it made him come unglued, and I'm with him. Because he's probably like, I would rather sacrifice that table than to sacrifice the reputation of my business. So, I mean, I don't know.
It's not a nightclub. It's a restaurant. And he just plays the music for the ambiance. You see what I'm saying? And we got to know how to conduct ourselves, man. And I'm just being honest with y'all. It can be fixed, but I think this is too far gone. I mean, the people that need the most help. See, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I grew up during the era when they used to give away the free cheese. The big blocks of cheese that had your ass stopped up for about 2 weeks. So the thing is, we still got them type of people, but they got a different mentality nowadays. They don't give a damn what they do, where they do it. They just gonna do it. They just gonna do what they want to do. I mean, at the end of the day, you are who you are, man. And just know you're gonna be that person at your fucking house playing with me, because I'm not finna take your ass nowhere. Nowhere. Like I say, throw your ass in the circle at 10:29 in the morning. You could do it at Sonic's especially when they doing them 50-cent corn dogs, and see if we can get some extra. But I'm just being honest with you. While you sitting there throwing your ass in a circle, is the white folk doing that in the restaurant? Is the other black people doing that in the restaurant? No, it's your ghetto ass that's doing that. Man, hurry up and get the motherfucker back to the ghetto before it closes.
Exactly. And then when the white people see that, they group us all together. That's what I'm saying. I mean, yes, there's a time and a place for everything. We're not telling you can't twerk your ass, whatever, but that's not the time to do it. It just isn't. But as we get ready to close this out.
But when you want them to throw their ass in a circle, I got a headache. You don't get here and clown just like you did in that restaurant. Get your ass naked and throw your ass in a circle right now. I ain't got time for all this.
Exactly. So, but are we that far gone yet? Is it too late to change things? It's never too late. And again, it starts with the first teacher. I agree. The fathers should be making a stand, and a lot of fathers are not there for whatever reasons, but that does not give the woman, the first teacher of both children, male and female, an excuse not to raise them correctly and appropriately.
I think a lot of people don't know how to raise kids. They just don't know, and it's not their fault because they wasn't raised. You see what I'm saying? The streets is raising these children. The streets are raising these children, man. And it's obvious, just look at the stuff that's going on and you'll clearly get it. I'm looking at women walking around with their pants unbuttoned, showing their pants. For real, shawty? What it run? How much that cost? So when somebody go to you like that, then you wanna act like they done disrespected your gangster. No, you represent like a hoe. I'm just trying to get you your change. I'm just trying to get you your money. I mean, Pimp told you, you that trash that like to fuck for $40 in the club. I'm trying to get you them 220s.
Yeah, and then I don't know if you guys saw that video a couple months ago where when WAP first came out and it was a girl, I don't know, I think she's about 8 years old or so. Apparently she took her mom's phone and posted herself, doing some things she shouldn't have been doing on social media. And then her mom beats the crap out of her on social media. Little girl. Yeah, beats her, on social media and posted, and you want to be grown, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, to me, it seemed like you should be whooping your own ass. How does your 8-year-old daughter even know to post that kind of stuff to social media? And why? Who is she watching doing that? I mean, the stuff she was doing, you could clearly tell she had been watching somebody else do it, and she thought that it was the thing to do was to post it. I don't know, for likes or whatever the case is, but I'm like, why are you whooping this child for? Now, how does she even know to do any of that? And so I think, and I'm speaking to, Black mothers, we have to be mindful of the things we do in front of our children. I tell the story all the time. When my daughter was, I don't know, about 2, I used to have my hair, lighter, almost on the blonde side. It was short, blonde finger waves. It was a thing to do in the 90s, right? And so I had a friend who did the same thing. And then my daughter says she thought my friend was a white woman because her hair was blonde. And it dawned on me, I was like, wow, what image am I showing my daughter? She's thinking my friend, who to me was clearly a Black woman. What is she thinking of me? And so the next day, I dyed my hair back brown because I didn't want my daughter to be confused as to who I was or who I was trying to be. I wasn't trying to be anything but myself. It was a trend, but I didn't want to confuse her. And so the point that I'm making is, whether we realize it or not, we as mothers, and I'm speaking to the mothers right now, we're always sending a message to our children. Are we sending a good message, something they can use? Are we sending a negative message, something that's going to come back to harm them in the long run? Because I just question the upbringing of a woman that will go to a restaurant where you're sitting down having cocktails and, good food. I question her upbringing to get up and twerk in a restaurant full of people and think that was okay. Mm.
Well, what we think some days is that children don't pay attention. They actually do pay attention. And I always tell women when they want to talk and have that conversation, if you got multiple kids, one of them going to be just like you. From top to bottom. Going to have the same personality. They're going to be just like you. So, I would tell a woman, look, you're doing all this stuff and thinking this child ain't watching you. You're running all these dudes in and out the house. You think they ain't watching you. And the new phenomenon that I'm looking at is all my sisters on Facebook smoking weed. You think your kids don't see that shit? They see that shit. They smoking weed. Now they throwing their ass in a circle on Facebook. And some of y'all really need to throw your ass in a tub and wash yourself up. I'm just being straight up with you, man. They all on Facebook half naked, throwing their ass in a circle, and then you can't figure out what happened to your daughter at 15 when she slapped the shit out you and tell you she ain't listening to you no more. Because she feels she's just as much woman as you. You never set the standards how to be a woman. So that's what she gonna run with. Like I say, throw your ass in that tub. That's what you need to do.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. And so I just think we need to be mindful. We need to be mindful of the messages that we're sending our children. They used to say, and we've all heard it once or twice from our parents, don't do as I do, do as I say. That's not how it works. Because my dad always says the children drink from that of their parents, and especially their mother, because, it's just the way it is. Most children are around their moms more. And so they soak in everything that you do, whether you realize it or not. Now I could tell my child, listen, don't smoke, don't smoke, don't smoke. Listen, when you get up, don't be smoking cigarettes. They bad for you. Well, 9 times out of 10, she's going to be like, well, it was programmed in my mind that I saw my mom do it her whole life. Even though she was telling me not to do it, I know what I saw her do. And so we got to be mindful. But more importantly, tonight, like I said, kudos to that black man for putting a stop to it. And I always say that it's going to take black men to shun that behavior. And again, I never try to indict Megan Thee Stallion or anybody like her, Lil Kim, and anybody else who, felt like they should be doing that. But, those women would exist less if I think men would say, hey, you know what? We want a sister with some clothes on. We want a sister that's only going to throw that ass in a circle for me. I don't want a woman where I have to log on to social media. I go on her page and she throwing her ass in a circle, or you can even see her ass. Like, I can't tell y'all. Now, I'm probably going to get in some trouble, but I don't care. I'm tired of seeing women up and down my timeline. These women in their 50s, in their 40s, they run around in their panties on. They talking about, I've been working out. Well, why you got to be in your panties to show us your muscles? Or these, I get it. Everybody wants to get the likes and all of that it's helpful sometimes to your ego. But
hey, you say the women be wearing the muscle shirts?
No, they be in the panties.
Oh, because I was just gonna tell you, some of them run around here with them dog titties. They need to have a bra on 24/7.
See, I'm not taking a problem with how they're shaped. I'm saying that, these grown women who are supposed to be setting the standard, they're on social media with next to nothing on. Women with their legs open. And it's just like, is your esteem that damn low?
Well, look, you got Kamala leading the charge. She out there whopping and dancing and got the Converse on, and they think it's acceptable. The Sororos are doing it. Everybody's doing it.
I don't care if Kamala's, I'm going to say her mom while she's gone, RIP. Kamala's whoever, okay? Kamala's mother-in-law. And if Kamala's mother-in-law was on social media dancing, two-stepping and whopping on, there ain't no reason for nobody else to do it. See, we should always be the role model our children look up to. It shouldn't be Megan. It shouldn't be Kamala. It shouldn't be anybody but us. And I always say, if your child looks to somebody else as their role model, you're the problem, because you didn't do a good job in making sure that you were the one, you're the woman that your child, especially your daughter, looks up to. But again, it's going to start with, to me, I don't know if it's going to start with you men, but it should end with you guys. Shun the whole.
Well, I'm going to just say this here. Megan can throw her ass in a circle. Look what she's working with. Some of y'all throwing a square in a circle because your ass, it look like a square. So I'm just telling you, I'm going to tell it like it is, like a T.I. is, and I ain't going to L.I.Y. That's the hood way of spelling things. So, but at the end of the day, Charles Barkley said it years ago, I am not a role model. If you don't know who your role model is, if it ain't coming out your house, then the examples are not being set. My role model was my father. And I used to watch this man get up and bust his behind. He'd lose his job. He'd go pick cans. He'd do whatever he had to do to make sure. Beating on that light box, taking them people meter next door. And I'm blessed to say, just watching him grind every single day is the reason that a doctor got to tell me you got to slow down because you're exhausted. Because that's all I know. That's all I saw. So when we putting out the negative image, we can't get mad at what our children bring to the table. But at the end of the day, Megan shouldn't be the role model for your daughter. You should.
Amen. I just got one thing to say before we close this out, and I'm going to give the challenge since everybody's putting up the all these challenges. And what was the boxer Nate Robinson challenge? Everybody's ha and he and all that other stuff. I got a challenge for all you guys out there. Go to a white restaurant, an upscale white restaurant, Asian restaurant, Mexican restaurant, right? Go over there, Russian restaurant, I don't care. Anything but your own restaurant. And start twerking in those restaurants. And then come back and report here on the War Zone your findings.
As far as Nate, y'all need to get up off of me. He did what he did. And get what? I'd have got my ass knocked out too for $600,000. You can beat the shit out of me for $600,000. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna walk around here like Martin with them knots on my head with 600 G's in my pocket. Final thoughts, Ms. Dimitri.
Well, like I said, it's going to take more of you black men really just to say, hey, you know what? Show me the sister that's got some sense, that's going to put some clothes on and that's not going to embarrass me. And that one day if we have children, she won't have to look back on the internet. They won't have to look back on the internet and see their mama throwing their ass in a circle. And, as far as Megan Thee Stallion, she's a beautiful girl. Sounds like she's going to school and all that, but her record flopped. So where is she going from there? What else does she have to offer? And I say that about a lot of women in the industry that come out the gate like that. What else are you going to tell us? You're going to not tell us how to solve world peace? Ain't nobody looking to you for that because you done came out and gave us everything. And so if Megan Thee Stallion is going to be in a couple of years, going to be asking herself, okay, where do I go from here? Don't you think the everyday woman, if that's the behavior she exudes, she's going to be asking herself that? And then for those people who want to look for a job, they can find your stuff on social media. And the last thing you want for your potential employer to do is slide an iPad across the table and ask, is this you throwing your ass in a circle? No, ma'am. You won't be representing our company. So again, big ups to Mr. Kelly for, doing what he had to do and setting the standard, not on my watch.
Final thoughts, Donovan.
Hey, final thoughts again, you guys. Thanks for tuning into the War Zone. Like I said, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but there has to be a standard. If there's no standards, then what's going to happen to our community and our society? We might as well just be what they say we are, savages, all this stuff. We should just be what they say we are because we have no standards within our community. Yes, again, it takes a village. You don't have to be the father. There could be the uncle or anybody else. Men, we need to stand up. I have nephews and nieces. I don't give a damn if they're grown or not. My nieces especially, I treat them as grown women. But that doesn't stop me from telling them what they need to know and what I will accept and what I won't accept. And they know that. At the end of the day, a lot of people say, well, they're grown. They can make their own decisions. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, when their ass gets dragged or they get with that guy that keeps going in and out of jail and they're on the social system, they could never say they weren't told.
I'm a real 24/7. If you raise them to be young ladies, they'll end up being great women. If you raise them to be hoes, they'll end up being hoes. The only thing that I'm going to tell you about a hoe is that when they become a hoe, they might end up being an old hoe. Say, man, another spirited discussion from the best in the business. It's the War Zone. I got my man, I want to thank him, Donovan Sadiq. The Queen, Demetra K. And I am the 5-star general. If you're serious about it, meet me at Sonic tomorrow at 2 o'clock. You can throw your ass in a circle for them corn dogs. Until tomorrow, we'll holler at you.